sit. I said sit. Good. Here, have a cookie. Sorry if that was rude, but now that I have your attention, today we're going to be continuing our part 2 of what machine learning is. How do we train a model and what kind of techniques we use. So if you've not checked out my part 1 of machine learning, where we spoke what machine learning is, how it works, and the 6 ingredients that you need to cook the machine learning biryani it is. So if you're not that, I'll link it down in the description below. Please do check it out. As for today's video, we are going to be talking about the different kinds of learning that is needed for your machine learning model. And then why do we need machine learning at all? Why suddenly such a buzz? By suddenly I mean since 1950s. And then towards the end, this is the exciting bit where we would unveil your first machine learning model together. So I would help you get into machine learning and then implement one for yourself, a classification and a regression model, all in a single notebook with just a few lines of code. So make sure you stay tuned until the very end to get there. But for anyone who is new and who do not know me, I'm Aarti, and I am a data scientist. But I was not a data scientist when I started out. I did my bachelor's in biotechnology and master's in biostatistics and epidemiology. But somewhere in between, I got into AI. We're talking about non-ChatGPT era here. So keep that in mind. I don't know why I code my way up here. But anyways, when I started out, I faced a lot of difficulties. I struggled a lot. I cried a lot. I did not understand even some basic SQL queries out there. So I just wanted to help you not face all of those struggles and teach you get into AI and become that tech genius. The next time you are at a friend's place, or even if you're talking to your parents, you would be able to explain machine learning and AI to them in such simple terms. You're going to be that tech genius to follow along. So, we're going to look at the 3 types of learning models out there: supervised, unsupervised, and then reinforcement learning. So, what is a supervised learning? It is basically similar to the example we saw in the previous video, where you feed the model with millions, not millions, so but hundreds and thousands of cat images and dog images, label them as, hey, this is a cat, hey, this is a dog, and then feed it to your model for your model to understand what a cat and what a dog looks like, right? So you supervise the learning for the model. So you supervise it by giving it some labeled information for the model to understand and give you the desired output. So that's supervised learning for you. The second learning type we have here is the unsupervised models. So what happens in unsupervised learning is you do not feed it with the actual labeled information, but instead give the data in an unstructured format. So this could be your PDFs, your documents, or the data that you've randomly collected from different people, let's say from your class or from your workplace. It could involve their gender, their age, their blood group, and so on. But you do not label this data. Instead, you just give all of this information to the model, but the model understands the patterns from here. So, to give you a real life example, let's take up Netflix recommendation, which is simple and easy to understand. So, what happens when you are done watching your horror movie? You get 3 recommendations, right? The movies that you might like watching next. So, how does Netflix know that you might like watching on one of these 3? Behind the Netflix is this unsupervised model. Not just as unsupervised, there is a complicated model out there, but the baseline of it is an unsupervised version. So, in the unsupervised learning, what the model does is it groups the data into different clusters or different buckets, if you will. So, I am a Netflix user. So, I typically watch Netflix in the night, like after 9 p.m., let's assume. So, what kind of things do I watch? I usually binge watch series, which are like thriller, and sometimes rom coms, and sometimes even one or two Tamil movies out there. Mm, You might be someone who watches Netflix in the morning. Oh, that is you. I'm jealous of it. Anyways, So if you are someone who watches Netflix in the morning and watches a lot of comedy movies, you would be classified into the bucket of users who do the same thing. I would be with the bucket of users who would watch Netflix at night, watch rom-coms, horrors, and so on. So with these buckets grouped into these, we are like different patterns that the model has identified. And based on that, our suggestions will be pushed. You know what I mean. So, when the model itself groups these clusters and identifies the patterns and tries to draw a relationship to what kind of an output you need, so that is unsupervised learning for you. You do not supervise how the model learns. You just let the model, go free, go solo. Anyways, the third type of learning that we have here is the reinforcement learning. So this is something that I did in the beginning of the video where I offered you a cookie and I made you sit. Sorry about that. But it's similar to how you train your dog, right? So you try to teach your dog some kind of tricks, or you try teaching your kid how to walk or how to learn an alphabet. So what do you do with your dog? You ask it to sit, and if it doesn't, you kind of like punish it. Let's assume not in a very rude way, but you do not offer it a cookie. And if your dog does follow your instruction and sits, you give it a cookie. So the dog understands that if it does something that you want, it gets a reward. If it doesn't, it gets a punishment. So that's your whole reinforcement learning. So let's put it this way. Your model correctly labels 10 cat images and then mislabels just one cat image. So you give a reward to your model for the correctly labeled 10 images and then a penalty for the mislabeled cat image. So that way, the model understands that, all right, so this is the user expected outcome, but then the other one is an unexpected wrong outcome. So the next time the model learns it and then avoids such a mistake and gives you the right prediction at every point in time. So those are the different types of learning algorithms out there: supervised, unsupervised, and then reinforcement.
Hello, I just realized that this video is too long as it is. For the implementation, please check out the next video. See you next time.